When I was growing up in the 80s, I couldn't get enough of things like robots and dinosaurs. So it certainly is no surprise that bringing these two concepts together would be so cool. In the world of the Transformers, the Autobots did just that with their own heavy artillery. Enter the Dinobots.
Excuse me!
Grimlock want to munch better?
I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your continued support. Consider becoming one or purchase some merch. Links are in the description below. Originally released in the Diaclone toy line, the Kyoru Robo-Toys were piloted mechs that could transform into robot dinosaurs. Imported by Hasbro to be part of the Transformers toy line, some minor alterations were made. This included blunting their teeth for safety standards and changing their blue-colored parts to red since they were Autobots. Although they did not include the Diaclone pilots, their pilot seats were still present. Released early in 1985, Bob Budiansky dubbed the team the Dinobots.
To help them in their never-ending battle against the evil Decepticons, the Autobots create a new breed of robot, Dinobots.
The first of which is the headstrong, fire-spouting hostile warrior, Slag. Transforming into a Triceratops, Slag is usually the first to charge into action.
Me, Slag, no like anything.
The dim-witted but powerful Sludge transforms into a Brontosaurus.
Me, Sludge, follow strongest leader, always.
In his Dino mode, Sludge can create earthquakes that even rival the Decepticon cassette Rumble. While only finding joy in battle, the unsociable loner, Snarl, transforms into a Stegosaurus. In Dino mode, the plates on his back can absorb solar energy to increase his strength, which are also used to blast lasers from his tail.
Not see again either, because we dynamite them to pieces.
Effectively hiding his kind, good-natured side, Swoop is a very effective aerial fighter.
Me, Swoop, do fancy flying now.
Transforming into a Pteranodon, Swoop strikes fear into his enemies as he dives down while bombing them with missiles. Transforming into a Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Dinobots are led by the fearsome and powerful Grimlock. It should be noted that his Dino mode is based on earlier renditions on how a T-Rex walked, since it took time for the general public to learn otherwise. With contempt for the weak, Grimlock arrogantly resents authority despite being dedicated to the Autobot cause.
Me, Grimlock stronger. Me, Grimlock must lead.
The Dinobots were first introduced in the cartoon episode SOS Dinobots. After discovering a cavern filled with dinosaur fossils from within the Autobots' base,
Dinosaurs, eh? They must have been ugly suckers.
Ratchet and Wheeljack were inspired to build Grimlock, Slag, and Sludge because
Robot dinosaurs might be useful. You have my authorization.
unfortunately, they were built with simple minds and they immediately ran amok in the Ark. Not wanting them to remain offline, Wheeljack upgraded their personality components as the Dinobots were reactivated, saving their fellow Autobots. In the following episode, War of the Dinobots, Megatron discovered and exploited the Dinobots' weaknesses, turning them on Optimus Prime. Meanwhile, the Autobots were given the go-ahead to construct both Snarl and Swoop. After defeating Optimus Prime, Grimlock, Slag, and Sludge brought him to Megatron, who was harvesting energy from an unstable meteor into Energon cubes. The two new Dinobots came to the rescue, battling the first three. However, Optimus Prime saved Grimlock's life as the meteor exploded. Once learning of Prime's selflessness, Grimlock and the other two Dinobots turned on Megatron and rejoined the Autobots.
Me, Grimlock was jealous of you.
The meteorite menace is gone.
Throughout the first two seasons of the cartoon, the Dinobots were a force to be reckoned with, often taking down many Decepticons. They'd even sometimes cross paths with the Constructicons, and their combined form of Devastator. With their popularity, the Dinobots were featured in Transformers the movie.
Me, Grimlock, kick butt.
Though their simple minds reduced their roles to comic relief characters.
No, tell story. Quiet.
Tell story.
We want to hear story.
This was especially true in the show's third season, in which they rarely transformed into robot mode, though Grimlock became more of a regular on the show.
Me, Grimlock, not feel sorry. Me, Grimlock, laugh.
In fact, an accident deep from within Cybertron temporarily gave him superintelligence, which led to the creation of the Technobots. But that is a discussion for another day.
Datum received. Conclusion, must destroy Abominus at once.
In the Marvel Comics, the Dinobots were introduced very differently than their cartoon counterparts. Instead, they were Autobots aboard the Ark when it crash-landed on Earth 4 million years ago. Shockwave came to Earth shortly after and attacked the Savage Land, a section of Antarctica where dinosaurs still roam the Earth in Marvel Comics. The Ark's computer reconfigured 5 Autobots into modes based on creatures seen in the Savage Land as the Dinobots to stop Shockwave's rampage. During the battle, they were trapped in the tar pits for 4 million years. In the then-present day of 1985, Ratchet rescued the Dinobots in order to save the Autobots who were captured by Shockwave. However, once Optimus Prime returned to lead the Autobots, the Dinobots grew frustrated that they weren't used in combat since they were warriors. This gave British writer Simon Furman the inspiration to feature the Dinobots in several exclusive adventures in the UK comic, as Grimlock quickly became his favorite. One notable adventure saw them battle the Predacons. As it turned out, Swoop had a rivalry with one of them, Divebomb, the Decepticon who had stolen his name. The Dinobots would eventually return to the US comic after Optimus Prime's death to battle Trypticon. Once defeating the giant Decepticon Dino, Grimlock was promoted to leader of the Autobots. However, his style of leadership was tyrannical, as he was more interested in picking out a crown for himself and he cared little for human life. This led to a confrontation over leadership with Blaster on the moon that was quickly interrupted by the Decepticons. Not long after Optimus Prime's return as a Power Master, the Dinobots were all killed by an underbase-powered Starscream. The popularity of the Dinobots saw Grimlock receive a new figure in 1989 as a classic pretender. This prompted his return to life in the comic as Ratchet revived him alongside Jazz and Bumblebee. To go along with Grimlock and Snarl's non-transforming Action Master figures, Grimlock sought out the power of Nucleon to revive the other Dinobots, where they participated in the battles during the last few issues of the comic. Late in 1992, the Dinobots returned to toy store shelves in Generation 2 in their classic colors, but were released in different colors throughout 1993. This of course led to their regular appearance in the G2 comics. An additional color scheme for Grimlock, along with Sludge and Swoop, were planned, but they were ultimately cancelled. However, after G1 ended, the Dinobots have appeared throughout the franchise, with origins varying with inspiration from either the cartoon or the comics. In the Dreamwave comics, Grimlock led a commando unit back on Cybertron known as the Lightning Strike Coalition. After the team was disbanded, Grimlock led the remaining members as the Dinobots, spelled with a Y instead of an I, leaving Cybertron in pursuit of the Insecticons and crashed on Earth. Unfortunately, a lot of holes were left in their story, as Dreamwave went bankrupt before it could all be revealed. In the IDW comics, the Dinobots were once again a unit on Cybertron, named for their belief in dynamic action with no rules. They even included a 6th member, their medic, Scar, who experimented on his teammates to take on the alt modes of cybermorphic predators that were hunting them. Unfortunately, the Dinobots were unable to control their new forms as they killed Scar and went on a rampage. Fortunately, the Autobots managed to tame their wild side, but they soon went off in their own starship, the Skyfire. In pursuit of Shockwave to Earth eons ago, the Dinobots took on the form of prehistoric dinosaurs with actual synthetic skin similar to Beast Wars. Shockwave's blast destroyed their animal skins and fried their circuits. In a plan set in motion by Grimlock, the Dinobot ship fired upon a nearby volcano, burying them in molten lava. Reawakening in the present day, the Dinobots were controlled by a government organization called Skywatch. However, they managed to come to their senses, but at the cost of Grimlock no longer being welcome among them. In Transformers Animated, 3 theme park animatronic dinosaurs were modified by Megatron to be used as weapons, and were accidentally given life by the powers of Sari's upgraded Allspark key. This team consisted of the T-Rex Grimlock, the only speaking Dinobot,
Cycle and car robots, good. Truck robot, bad.
the Pteranodon Swoop, and a Triceratops that was going to be named Slag. However, Hasbro discovered that despite its definition of being the waste product from smelting, the word was considered offensive in the UK, and so he was renamed Snarl instead.
You named him Snarl?
Well, I was gonna call him Slag, but I think he took it as an insult.
Like their G1 counterparts, the Dinobots were simple-minded and territorially hostile as they lived on a small island off of Lake Erie.
Intruders! Me, Grimlock, destroy!
However, they easily became enslaved by the likes of Meltdown and Black Arachnia, which sometimes put them at odds with the Autobots. In the Aligned continuity, Grimlock's unit, the Lightning Strike Coalition Force, were captured by Shockwave, who experimented on them, physically modifying their bodies into the Dinobots in the game Transformers Fall of Cybertron in 2012. They would escape, however, and battle their way through hordes of Decepticons and Insecticons.
Grimlock, get me out of here!
No one's tougher than me! Crazy.
Hey, we Dinobots gotta stick together!
Sludge was thought to have been killed in the game, but he did return in the tie-in comics, where the Dinobots remained on Cybertron in a quest to protect others on the planet. It was in this game that Slag's name was changed to Slug, which would be his name moving forward.
Excuse me.
This was also true in the IDW comics, as RC convinced Slag to change his name. Grimlock had fallen victim to Scorponok, who severely damaged his psyche. He spent the rest of the time being rehabilitated by a group of misfit Decepticons known as the Scavengers. The new team leader, Slug, and their new member Strafe, a 2-headed female dragon Dinobot, continued to try and find their place until they sought to protect new Cybertronian life from within Trypticon. Now, while the Dinobots were normally considered a team, the term Dinobot has been used on several Transformers with dinosaur alt modes. This included Beast Wars, where the character known as Dinobot was named in homage to the original Dinobots.
I am a warrior. Let the battle be joined.
His toy was even recolored as Grimlock, sporting a silver, black, and gold color scheme. According to his toy bio, he is G1 Grimlock in a new body, and he even had a short role in IDW's tie-in comic. During Beast Machines, a toy subline known as Dinobots had featured dinosaur beast transformers released in various colors. According to their unpackaged backstory, each of them were given a piece of Dinobot's DNA to combat Megatron's techno-organic virus, making them immune to it and giving them dinosaur alt modes. In the 3H BotCon comics, they would go on various missions, thinking that they would save Cybertron, but it turned out they were being duped by the Quintessons. Throughout the 2000s, various toys were released with influence of the original Dinobots, whether in alt mode or even taking on their names. It even inspired another 6th member to be added to the group, Paddles the Plesiosaurus, in a short story published in a prose collection, Transformers Legends, in 2004. The live-action films introduced a new take on the Dinobots in the 2014 film Age of Extinction. These savage, unspeaking ancient warriors were prisoners aboard lockdown ship until Optimus Prime rescued them and ordered them to help his fellow Autobots face off against Galvatron and the KSI-created Decepticons. When Grimlock refused, Optimus Prime put him in line.
You defend my family. Or die.
As Optimus Prime rode Grimlock into battle, the team was made up of Slug, the Triceratops, Scorn, the Spinosaurus, and Strafe, the 2-headed Pteranodon. Only seen in the final act of the film, the Dinobots briefly returned for the sequel, The Last Night, along with their own spawn of mini Dinobots. The films inspired the Rescue Bots cartoon in its third season to transform the entire team, including Optimus Prime, into Dinobots as well. This was even further expanded in 2015's Robots in Disguise cartoon, which saw a new version of Grimlock, the Decepticon Scowl, and the Minicon Tricerashot. With all of these different origins, and with Sparks now considered to be the life force of Transformers, some fans have asked whether or not the G1 cartoon Dinobots have sparks of their own. But that will be a discussion for another day.
Cybertonium? Cybertron? Okay, let's do it!
However, another question that at one time was often asked about the Dinobots is why they've never officially combined like the Constructicons or the Aerialbots. The real reason was simple. They originally weren't made for that purpose, even if fan-made creations tried to fill that gap. That hasn't stopped other dinosaur-themed Transformers teams from combining. In Transformers Victory, Takara recolored the monster Pretenders with new dinosaur Pretender shells into the Dino Force, who merged to form Dino King. In Transformers Energon, a 2-pack of Grimlock and Swoop were released that could power link together to become Mega Dinobot. In 2010, a power core combiner named Grimstone shared the colors of the G1 Dinobots as he combined with 4 Dinobot drones. For the longest time, these examples were the closest we ever got to an official Dinobot combiner. There was, however, a horribly produced fan-made story on the Metrodome G1 DVDs known as The Beast Within.
Wait, Rodimus. You know we don't talk about the Beast.
Oh hey DiamondBolt, what are you doing here?
We don't speak about that abomination of a story. Like, ever.
Well, it's super obscure. I was just gonna mention how horrible that thing was.
It wasn't just horrible, it was the reason we never got an official Dinobot combiner. And probably never will.
Well, it's not something we got here in the US, thank God.
Rodimus, it is something we must never speak of. It's not a combiner, it's a creature that arose from the depths of the pit. It's a story that sees a battle between the Autobots and Decepticons interrupted by what looks like a 5-year-old's drawing. The Dinobots don't really combine, they tear themselves apart to form this thing, and proceed to go on a murderous rampage and wipe out the entire cast of Transformers. And then Optimus pushes it off a cliff. Basically, everyone dies, the end. It's the dumbest story ever created in the Transformers universe, and is so lazily written it hurts. The dialogue is awful and unreadable, the art is horrifying, and the story is so appalling that it rivals even Transformers Energon. I cannot believe Hasbro actually allowed this thing to exist. Why on earth was that?
Okay, DiamondBolt, we get it. It was bad. It was mind-numbingly bad. Let's not mention that abomination ever again.
Alright, carry on.
This all changed for Transformers Power of the Primes in 2018. All 5 Dinobots finally got new toys and were given the ability to combine into the mighty Volcanicus. In addition, another 6th member was added to the group, the female Velociraptor, Slash.
Clever girl.
The Dinobots even combined to form Volcanicus in Machinima's Prime Wars Trilogy cartoon, though Grimlock left the other Dinobots behind to save Cybertron.
Are we there yet?
No.
He was also a playable character in the Earth Wars mobile game as well. In Transformers Cyberverse, Grimlock had spent time on prehistoric Earth with dinosaurs, even taking a savage T-Rex alt mode.
When the civilized way fails, sometimes one has to call upon a little friend called
His message to the stars inspired a colony world of Transformers to take on dinosaur alt modes as well. Unfortunately, their world was destroyed by Trypticon and his Immobilizer gang. The 4 survivors, who consisted of the classic Dinobot team with a female Swoop, met up with Grimlock on Cybertron,
courage and good cheer is all very well, but
in which an accident with the Enigma of Combination merged them into Volcanicus. Learning to have courage and be of good cheer, their teamwork managed to defeat Trypticon and his crew.
what a beast and a terribly abusive employer.
Although not an actual combiner, the toy of Cyberverse Volcanicus was given a dragon-like beast alt mode. In addition to the Studio Series 86 releases of the original Dinobots, Takara re-released the Power of the Prime's Dinobots in a more cartoon-accurate deco in a Volcanicus gift set. This coincided with the conclusion of their Legends manga, which saw the Dinobots combine to help bring peace to the galaxy. And finally, in 2023, core class versions of the Dinobots were released in the Transformers Legacy Evolution toy line. These included the IDW Comics character of Scar, as they combined to form Volcanicus. As many fans suspected, these figures would even be redecoed as a new version of the Decepticon Dino King. Acting prehistoric as they rampage against Decepticons, the Dinobots remain the Autobots' force to be reckoned with, regardless of their origins, and now that they combine more frequently in Transformers toys and media, when the Autobots need some heavy hitters, they are sure to call on the Dinobots. Even if they are sometimes unruly, or if they just want to enjoy some of Cup's old war stories, the Dinobots are sure to romp and stomp into action.
Dinobots! No! Fool around! Right! Dinobots! Transform!
But what do you think? Is it better for the Dinobots to have never combined, or is Volcanicus cool too? Which member is your favorite, and should the classic team be reunited more often? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. A big thank you to DiamondBolt for being a part of this video now and in its original release. Be sure to check out his channel as well. I have many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
It is impossible! I saw you perish beneath the garbage! You're wrong, and you ugly too!